This is the Own It Show, where we tell stories of how everyday people made ownership theirs to create extraordinary success.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm Justin, and my cohort this week is actually out of town back in Mont Tremblant, Canada. It actually is going to be what we're discussing about today, because she's actually seeking out some coaching, going to her own retreat with Deepak Chopra. And with Elise being gone, it got me thinking about the way that we show up on a day-to-day basis and how we choose a coach, how we choose somebody to help us, how we choose a mentor. And the biggest thing is when we've had a lot of these discussions with people, there's been a lot of things that people just think that they can give out opinions and that makes them a coach, that they can go sheerly off their life experiences and what they've seen and gone through, that they can start to provide guidance on. And when we've started to work with some people that have either come through Own It, or they've then moved into some other form of their life, or even just talking to a lot of the very successful people who are now living in ownership, they've all had a very common denominator, and it's that they've had a coach. And so how do you determine what a great coach is, or how do you determine who you seek out for coaching? Because it is an investment in yourself. Nothing comes free. Nothing comes without some level of investment or sacrifice or something to that nature, and anything worthwhile anyways. And there's three things that we have been able to identify when you're looking for a coach or looking for a mentor in this space to really kind of help get you to that next level. And so number one is you want to look for somebody who has been where you are or is where you want to be. And what I mean by that is if I'm not going to get coaching from somebody, if I'm looking to grow my business to a $50 million business that hasn't built a $50 million business before, I'm not going to go to somebody from a health standpoint if their health is not something that is that I aspire to be like. You want to be with somebody who's been in the trenches, experienced the ups and downs, experienced the hardships that come along with it. Because guess what? Like Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. And so when you're going down that road, you're going down that journey, they've probably already experienced it. They've probably already been through it. They've probably already seen a lot of the things that you're going to stumble across and a lot of the different issues that you're going to have to help navigate. And because they have that experience, because they have that expertise, because they've walked in those waters before, and they've ultimately succeeded and gotten to the other side, that's going to be somebody that has a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise that can help you along your journey as well. So number one is making sure that the person that you're seeking out or that you're going with has been where you currently are or is where you want to go. That's number one. Number two is to make sure that you guys have aligned values. And this one I cannot harp on enough. I've gone down and I've gotten coaching from people who my values were misaligned with them, and they wanted me to engage in things and do things and take actions that fundamentally were just misaligned with my values. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like something that I wanted to lean into. It didn't feel like something I wanted to buy into. It didn't feel like something I wanted to take action on. And even if I had, it wouldn't have been developing me as a person, developing the business, developing my relationships the way that I felt like I really wanted to. And so it left a lot to be wanted for. And at the end of the day, it created a lot of distension. I'll go back and I'll tell this story. So when Elise and I were first starting Own It, we had invested in two coaches, one more on the marketing side, the other more on the PR side. And right from the get-go, we were sold on how they could impact our business, how they could take us to that seven-figure number. And we were, again, we were kind of glossy-eyed with we don't know who else to go with. We really don't know this space. It's I like everything I'm being told, but I don't know you from Adam. And so what we ended up doing was that the more we talked with them, we ended up just saying, you know what, we just have to do it. Everyone around us is telling us to take action fast, take massive action. And we ended up investing close to 75, 80 grand in this coaching service, and to kind of help us accomplish what we couldn't do ourselves. And it only took us about a month to figure out that we were so misaligned on our values, and that what they had promised they were going to deliver were not being delivered upon, was not moving in the right direction. Things they were asking us to do seemed very shady, kind of just not authentic, not transparent, not true to what Elise and I wanted to dive into. And so we ended up moving away from them, and but it was an $80,000 mistake. And so when we look back on it, it's a lesson in life. It's a learning process. But at the same time, we also didn't have anybody on our path, or that was with us, that had been in our shoes before, that was helping us. We were kind of doing it on our own. So not having lesson number one, which is somebody on your side who's been there or has done what you've wanted to accomplish. And two, hiring a coach that was misaligned with our values cost us 80 grand and really kind of left us in a tough boat. And so, and also we realized that those people that we hired hadn't built what they said they did, but two, built where we wanted to go. So they hadn't accomplished it. They didn't have one or two. Real big lesson for us. And number three, and this is one that I think it's going to come a little bit like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought about that. But make sure the coach you hire, or the person that you hire, or the person you align yourself with, is seeking coaching themselves. And the reason is it's twofold. One is there's that trickle down effect. They're probably hiring a coach that if their values are aligned with yours and they are where you want to aspire to be, they're probably hiring a coach that's out of your price range. They're probably in masterminds. They're probably in have access to people that you may not have access to yet. And so the information they're going to be gathering is information they're going to be passing on down to you. So again, they are going to be providing massive value to you by giving you access to things that they are investing in themselves for. And number two, if they're not growing, they're slowly dying. Meaning, if you're not getting new information, if you're not learning new things, if you're not being exposed to new ways of thinking, everything that you have is slowly becoming obsolete. And so making sure that the person that you are strapping your cart to, somebody that you are wanting to use as a mentor, use as a coach, is also being coached themselves. And that goes back to this weekend with Elise. Elise and I, at the very beginning of every single year, are continuing to figure out, okay, what masterminds are we investing in? What coaching are we investing in? What mentors are we investing in? How are we building a good our goal for this upcoming year of 2023 is how are we building a really solid and strong board of advisors for us within Own It. That's going to be our big investment this year from a business standpoint. And the business is going to be getting coaching from a large group of people, let alone that Elise and I are both in a couples mastermind. We have our relationship coach. Elise is up with Deepak Chopra this weekend, investing in a retreat for herself. This is her second one of the year. And it comes back to these things of really investing in ourselves, because when we invest in ourselves, it immediately gives us an availability to then serve our team and our clients and everybody else within Own It in a better way. And so we go back to those three things. I know we talk a lot about this. The common denominator of the people who are living in ownership, the people who have gotten from where they are to where they ultimately want to be, and quite frankly, changing their life, is that they've invested in a mentor, invested in a coach, invested in somebody who's really helping them grow and navigate this space. And so how do we find that person? Number one, make sure they've been where you are, or they are currently where you want to be. Okay, that's number one. Number two is making sure that they are heavily aligned with your mission, vision, and values. And it doesn't mean that you guys are in the same industry. It just means that your values are the same. So you're going to be expected to take the same action steps as what and advice, and then it's coming from a place that is aligned within yours. And number three, make sure that coach or that person or that mentor that you're seeking out is getting coaching themselves, because somebody that's willing to continue to invest in themselves, continue to develop, is something that you're going to want to invest in as well. So guys, as you go forward, like I said, without my cohort today, we know success is different. So we have to initiate by choosing differently. When we live life differently, we get different results. So with that being said, guys, success is different. Own your different. We'll see you next week.